marketing, entrepreneurship, and all things small business. You're listening to the Jurassic Marketing's Triceratops. Now, here's your host, Justin Miller.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. We are, 3 weeks in a row with guests instead of me and you rambling. Right. And we've taken a couple of different turns. So we've talked about some offline marketing. We've talked about, I'll put it in the category of organizational development. And today we're going to talk a little bit about video marketing. So This is a cool one because obviously by the nature of the podcast, you and I have our own version of this we do.
Yeah.
But it's not like part and parcel to what we do at Jurassic Marketing. It's not a service we offer or anything. And I'm going to learn as much as you all are today, and I'm going to apply it to what we're putting out there. So our guest today is Josh Hodges. He's a partner at Kruger and Hodges, your hometown injury lawyer. And Josh has a unique online presence when it comes to video. And we're going to start there. First off, Josh, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it. All the listeners appreciate it because they get tired of just hearing me talk. Like, this is not supposed to be about me. And I think that what you're going to teach us today actually lines up perfectly with that. So before we dig into that, just give me a little background on your organization, your firm, kind of who you serve, a little bit of scale so we have a frame of reference.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. So again, Josh Hodges, Kruger and Hodges, hometown injury lawyers. We are in Southwest Ohio mostly. Most of our footprint is in between Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus, but mostly the small towns in between. We don't really go down and try to go marketing in the big cities as much. I'm from Hamilton, Ohio. It's like a mid-sized Midwestern, Rust Belt old factory town, really, that's kind of on the revival. And I've lived here my whole life. And I found a URL when we first started. It was thehometownlawyers.com. And we both lived here our whole life. So we just been running with that ever since. And then we started, highlighting small towns all over Ohio, kind of as we grew. We got 33 people on the team, including me. Been going since 2018.
Very nice. And is the team all local to you? I ask because we had a previous personal injury attorney who had a lot of remote staff. So I'm kind of curious, with your organization, you're at a pretty substantial scale by most standards of small business. So tell me a little about how that works.
Yeah, so we have people all over kind of southwestern Ohio in the areas we serve. I think we got 23 people in Ohio. And then we have a handful of virtual staff as well, helping with marketing and, different types of processes along the way.
Okay. And you referenced how we got to the name of Hometown Lawyer. Give a little sense for, your online presence with that name, and then we'll dig in a little tactical on it.
Yeah, so it started off, I didn't want to do videos, probably like anyone. I'm 42. I didn't grow up doing videos or being on social media, any of that stuff. And I didn't even get on Facebook till I was in law school. I went to law school later in life too, so I was like 30 years old when I started even getting on there at all. It was mostly because I was missing out on the happy hours of law school. I was waiting for emails for stuff, and they were putting it on a Facebook group, so I got on there for that. But about 2019, 2020, I just saw, this is the way things are going. You're going to have to get out there and do some videos. So begrudgingly did it at first. I put a suit on every day, tried to talk about law, pretty boring. You can only talk about uninsured motorists so many times, even though I have a lot of important things to tell people, but it's not that fun to listen to if you don't need it at that time. And it's not that much fun to talk about over and over. There's only so much you can say. So I started just kind of toying around with, let's talk about other things, and let's maybe not wear a suit every day and maybe toss my Reds hat on. We're in first place. So shout out to the Red Knights. Things like that, showing I'm local. I could never compete with the giant national firms. They're going to buy more TV spots than me, but I could be, I'm the hometown lawyer in Hamilton. I can out Hamilton anybody. If someone out Hamilton's me, another lawyer, then I'll tip my hat to them because they're going to have to hustle. And that's kind of where it came from, and that's kind of what I've done. I can be more small town Ohio than anyone. That's my goal, and try to stand out that way and do a lot of good along the way. I think it's been fun. It's been good for a lot of the small businesses we highlight. I have a video series we call it Around Town with the Hometown Lawyer. I post one every single day on Facebook, and it's a lot of work. Trying to post 365 new small town highlights of business people, nonprofit leaders, in small
Wait.
towns throughout.
I want to stop you. You're posting daily?
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
great.
lot of
That's
content.
a lot of content.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of
my
content.
marketing assistant, she when I first told her that was the goal this year, kind of scared her. Last year we've been doing this series for about 3.5 years. It used to be like one a week. And then last year we did a little bit more. I was doing like 2 a week. And this year my goal was to post one every single day. Thus far we've been doing that. If I miss a day, I'll have a rerun. I can toss an old one. But just getting all the content shot, what I do is we'll pick a town. We're going to Portsmouth, Ohio next week. It's a town along the Ohio River that I like been out there a bunch of times. And I don't have a camera guy on staff every day. I have him kind of on retainer. So next week I'll take him all the way out with me to Portsmouth, and she'll have like 10 or 15 people we're going to do these short interviews with. And then we go out there and bang them all out one day. And then as he edits them, then I can drip the content out. I'll have 15 days of content when that's done. So it's not that I'm running around every day like it would look like if you're on my Facebook or my TikTok. But, it is 2 or 3 days a month I'm out there. And it's not just shooting the content. I actually get to meet the people in person. So it's like layering real life networking with social media on top of it. And it just makes it, I think, more real and more fun. And I think we get to do a lot of good with it. I think it's also fun for, my team knows that we're out there like highlighting a lot of people who might not get a spotlight shined on them very often. Because when you watch the news, kind of what made me really want to do it is like when you watch the news, it's usually someone who did something great that's maybe unattainable to most of us, some great athlete or some politician or whatever, business leader, or someone who did something heinous that you don't want to be on there for either. It's, the people in the middle really make up most of society, and you don't really get news for that. So I think people want to hear stories that way, especially in small towns that don't have papers or news of their own. That's kind of where we fit in. And I think it helps us because we make a lot of friends, and a lot of people think lawyers are jerks. It's kind of hard to hate on me too much if I'm out there doing good all the time. So that's kind of where it's as. And every year we've kind of ramped it up a little bit more. I've hired a full-time person who sets up the videos because I can't plan that many videos myself, 300 plus a year, and then the video guy. So I've got an editor that helps him as well. So it's like a 3.5 person team.
So yeah, I was hearing that behind the scenes as you were talking that we're hiring camera and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of questions actually, but I'm curious first, when you first started this, was it pick up the iPhone and record something, or what's if someone likes what they hear and sees value in it and wants to start, what would you suggest?
Yeah, I just picked up my phone at first and I talked about being a lawyer, and I had a suit on. I think I was standing in front of a pile of books in the background like every other person who's ever tried to be a lawyer on video at first. And then over time, I got more relaxed, just started being myself more. I stopped caring about being perfect. I actually will get updates on my phone of old, how you get the reminders. I just got one the other day from 2019, and it was me with a suit on trying to talk about uninsured motorists or whatever it was. And I kept stopping and redoing it because I'd flub up a word. And I just stopped doing that. If you're waiting to try to post a perfect video, you'll never get it done, or you won't get it done enough to be consistent. You got to just start posting content and get over trying to be perfect. Most people don't care what you're posting. Most people are not going to be as critical as you are of yourself. And I think lawyers, a lot of times people think we're unapproachable and they don't want to reach out to us. So I think maybe being a little less than perfect sometimes and not dressing fancy all the time and not trying to sound so smart makes me a guy they're not scared to reach out to, because I sound more like a normal person. And then, I think most people assume lawyers are smart. And I think too many lawyers are online trying to sound smart, which kind of feeds into the negative, kind of vibes people have toward lawyers in society. I kind of want to go against that, because I know most lawyers are pretty cool, really, if they loosen up a little bit. That's kind of been my goal.
Yeah, I'm sure you get the Reds fans coming up to you, right? So you wear the hat, like Kevin, how those Cubbies doing? Like,
I mean, we're not doing as well as the Reds.
I hear,
let's
I
put
hear
it
the
that
Reds
way.
are doing pretty well. How
Reds
about your
are doing
Cubs, Kevin?
better than the Cubs. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I just don't want to fix my hair every day. If I'm not going to court, I'm not wearing a suit. I just like toss my hat on if I'm sitting in the office. And then I also did think like, people know I'm local. That'll be good in videos. But the funniest thing is where I never would have expected. I've gotten referrals from attorneys in other states that I've never met before, because they saw my videos and they remembered, and they actually told me when they referred it, we just remember you had a Reds hat on and we knew you had to be close to Cincinnati most likely. And I was like, man, I never even thought that far ahead, but not too bad.
They just think we're close to dinosaurs here.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Kevin, I'm kind of curious how this resonates with you. So you're in small town media.
Yep.
Traditional media.
Yeah. I just listening to him talk, because you start with the iPhone, you work up to a production person. Now you've got someone writing. It's become its own thing. And as far as all of your different methods of advertising, where do you place it now? Do you find people talk about a billboard or about this or that? Or they're like, I saw that video of you at the ice cream shop in whatever town.
Yeah, I think it's probably definitely the most viewed thing I do and the most different. But I really try to tie it all together best I can. And I'll give you an example of that. Yeah, I did billboard. I never really wanted to be a billboard lawyer, whatever that means. No offense to those who wanted to be one, I guess. But I also didn't want to look at billboards of the big city lawyers all throughout my town all the time, right next to my office. And they were getting closer and closer. And at some point, I just bit the bullet and started buying the small billboard, renting the small billboards in my town, not on the expressway, but the ones in the neighborhood, the small ones. And mostly as defensive at first. And for a couple of years, they were fine. People saw them. But I wanted to tie it in more to like my brand. Like it felt like it was off on its own. I wanted, I knew I was doing good stuff with social media and the community marketing. And I finally kind of figured out a way to do that. So what I've done is every month I'll get like a nonprofit or this month there was an event for kids. They're raising money for Childhood Cancer Society, a local one. And so I'll put them on a billboard. I'll give them one of my billboards for a month, and it'll say in the corner, like sponsored by the hometown lawyer, but the billboard is them, and they can't maybe afford one. And I already got a bunch. So I'll give those away, and then we'll do social media about that. So then it kind of tied into online. I'm always shouting out small town business. Now on my billboards I am. So it kind of like converged the two. And I've put on, I've had some local like content creator influencers, like really local ones. I've put them on billboards before just because it's fun. And I don't know, just try to be different and always be thinking about how I can be local and how I can give back. And I think it builds a good culture. The other thing that I never thought, most people get online, they want to get cases. I mean, you're marketing to get cases at the end of the day. And I am too. Everyone is, if they're being honest. One great, I guess, side effect of the online and the positive highlighting and all the things we do on social media is I don't have as much problems recruiting people to work for me now. Mm-hmm. And that was something I wouldn't even have thought of. But one of my newer employees, when she started, she said when she told her grandma she got a job here, she's like, I think that's that guy that gives the billboards away. That's really nice. I'm like, that's pretty good. And about 5 years ago, I'll tell you a story. I put out a job for a receptionist and I got 3 applicants. I did a phone interview with all of them, told them all to come in for a real interview in person. Only one showed up. I hired her. Thank God she's been good. She's still here 5 years later. She's my intake manager now. But 3 people is not very good to pick from. The same job last year, I had like 170 in like a day and a half. I had to turn it off because it was like, holy crap. Like I can't even go through all these. And the only thing that changed was I have a bigger brand now. And I think it's viewed positively in the neighborhood compared to most entry lawyers, which were not always, everyone's favorite business.
There is a stigma, right? But you found a great way to combat that. I think one of the key points that's between the lines here that you haven't blatantly stated is you actually care about the people you're interviewing. Like you're enjoying this. It's authentic to you. Because I'm trying to think how someone can screw this up. And I think they can try and copy what you're doing and not actually care and are looking for the end result of it, and it will wreck the whole thing.
Yeah, you really do have to care. I really do care about my town. I've lived here my entire life. It wasn't always the fanciest place to live. I lived on the poor, there's a river goes through our town. I was on the side that was probably traditionally poorer than the other one, and neither side was rich. It's a blue collar factory town, and every man in my family worked in a factory or construction or something like that. And I did too when I was in my 20s. I didn't become an attorney until I was 32. So I worked in blue collar jobs when I was young. And there's a lot of towns in Ohio and Indiana and Illinois like that, and Pennsylvania, all through the Midwest. There's a lot of towns that have a lot of history, things to be proud of, but they weren't, on the rise when I was a kid in the 90s. They were on the way down, and then they were kind of depressing. So a lot of them now in Ohio are kind of turning around and getting better. So I kind of like being here now that things are turning around. I've been here the whole time. and a lot of people have. And I like highlighting positive things that are happening in towns. And the more I started in Hamilton, where I'm from, but I started getting cases in Middletown down the road, or Wilmington an hour away. And I'd drive to those towns with kind of different viewpoint than when I was maybe been a teenager, and only looked at the bad things. And like, I wanted to go to wherever else, somewhere tropical or whatever. When you're a kid, you have big dreams of leaving your hometown. But I started seeing a lot of beauty in these small towns and a lot of the cool people that are there doing good things. And I just, wanted to start giving them a shout out. And honestly, I think you're asking, can you screw it up? The way I look at it, I think it helps my business. I can't actually track that it does. There's no way to track ROI on something like this. Attorneys will ask me that. So I think if you're going to screw it up, you go into it thinking you're going to get an ROI immediately or be able to track it. I'm good. And I've told this, I've spoken at events before. I can't prove it works. I think it does. But when I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to be thinking back, man, I regret that because I didn't get an ROI. If someone proved to me I didn't, I still would be glad I did it because it's fun. Like my videographer, he had a full-time job at Costco before I hired him to do this gig. And then he's got a couple other clients. Now he's quit that job and driven all over Ohio and saw more of Ohio than most people lived here their whole life. He's from Colorado. He's only been here for a few years. So I've had him in little bitty towns in the middle of nowhere shooting videos. So it's kind of been fun. It's a break from the office. I'm a lawyer. I'm looking at other stuff all the time. So there's a lot of positives, really. So yeah, you really have to love it. I like doing it. I like people.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end of the day, I think, you live in a trust-based business where the results they're there, but they're not immediate, right? Like, I can't, retain you and then immediately it's done.
Yeah.
And everyone's different, right? Like, every case is different. So, yeah, they have nothing to go on other than reputation and trust. And you found a way to instill that, but it humanizes you, I guess, for lack of a better word.
You, and you're interesting versus, I need a lawyer now, so who have I seen a TV commercial for 1,000 times or a billboard? They're like, wait a minute. I just think you're building a brand that, again, isn't tied to immediate ROI, but you're getting it, even though you may not be able to measure it. When people talk to you and they want to be on your video, they're like, I've seen the other ones. That's where your ROI was. People want to be involved.
Yeah, look, it ties really nicely to like the newsletter marketing we do. Like, months 1, 2, and 3, it's really hard for me to prove an ROI to you on that. But if you get to months 6, 8, 10, you'll do it for the rest of your career because you'll start having communications. I imagine people come up to you and they mention something they saw.
For sure, yeah. People at this point, I've pretty much posted a video virtually every single day for like 5, going on 6 years, a long time. So I posted a video every day for a year before anyone ever called me and hired me and said they'd saw a video. So a year, 365 videos. And the people in my office back then, I only had 2 employees. My oldest paralegal, who's now retired, known her most of my life, she'd make fun of me like, you're too old to be doing those TikToks or whatever you're doing. And they'd all kind of, rip me about it a little bit. And I still remember where I was standing in an old office. She was on the phone and she said it out loud. So I gave her, you're calling us because you saw him where? And she looked at me and was like rolling her eyes. And I was like, and she was like, you saw him eating tacos at this house taco shop down the road. And I was like, I looked at the sky like it worked. I couldn't believe it either. And this has been kind of going ever since. It has built now. I'll be in a random town and people will be like, you're the hometown lawyer. And I'll be like, it's weird, like how they even know me. But if you do a video every day, the thing is if I was doing videos in Los Angeles, maybe people would see it, but a lot of people are talking about that big of a city all the time. If you shout out, like, what state are you guys in?
Illinois. We're on the border of Illinois.
So if you go to a state or a city in Illinois that has 2,500 people and do a video, people in the big city might not care, but those 2,500 people will see it. And every single one of them will care a lot more because they are not used to seeing their city on YouTube or anywhere. Unless it's something bad, typically, so it means more in a small town.
I think we're seeing the rise, maybe like you're an originator, but I think we're seeing the rise of the local influencer. Like I know, yes, I scroll social media more than I probably should. And yes, we're not in major market. We're like 400,000 metro, but that's over a large geographic area. And yeah, I see local influencers pop up all the time now. I'm like, what? Why is someone bothering to film this?
Sure. What also reminds me a little bit of like a real estate person. There are some real estate professionals who have gotten into the brand. They're not, it's posting videos about whatever, not about the house I have for sale. There is something to it that people you want to cheer for the local guy who you feel like he's not an ass. You know, you just want to be like, oh, I like this guy or this girl.
Well, yeah, and you either have a need or you don't, right?
Yeah, I think so. And the other thing is people need to remember, if they go out there and do that and they do a good job and they stick with it for a year or two, you're going to start getting a lot of calls that are not about whatever you do. I get a lot of calls for divorce and bankruptcy and everything else because I'm local influence or whatever in the legal community. And I think some people will be like, oh, I'm getting a bunch of calls that I can't help with. That is good if you're getting that. They're handing you, that means you're winning. They're trusting you. Yeah, okay, I don't do divorce, but I still want to help this person. They trusted me. I'll find them someone. The lawyer I send it to is going to be happy. I'm making friends there. It's just a good thing if you're getting a lot of calls. Don't get down if you are. And just keep at it. It's like going to the gym or something. Like, you're not going to get Arnold Schwarzenegger in 3 months. Like, if you do a video every day for 10 years, I guarantee you'll be busier though. Like it's and it doesn't, and don't overdo if you're in real estate or law or whatever it is, it doesn't have to be that all the time. Do a little bit of it enough. My name on there is the hometown lawyer. They know I'm a lawyer just by reading that. I do videos when I come home and talk to my wife, and she's cooking, and I just show her hands, and me and her have a banter, and she'll give me crap or I'll give her crap. It just makes me look like a normal person. And I think that's kind of where the magic is. It's like, the people that are like you are going to find you. You're not going to be for everyone. I know that probably some people watch my video and I'm not all suited up, acting super serious all the time. I'm never acting silly, but I'm not just stiff all the time or looking intimidating. Sometimes people might want a scary lawyer for their case. That's fine. They might not pick me. I'm not going to be for everyone, but I'm going to be for the people that I need to be for, and I think that's where marketing is at.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a guy wearing a dinosaur shirt, so
I need to get one of those.
Oh, maybe we can arrange that. Now that you said that, the algorithms are going to find you, and you'll be getting
for sure.
started.
I bet.
All right, we got some lightning round questions as we wrap up here. So you want to do lightning round? All right. Number 1, best business book or what's on your current reading pile?
Best business book. I mean, that's a good one, man. I kind of bounce around. I read a lot of nonfiction, like the business books, but I won't read them all the way through. I'll read a chapter or two here, and that's why I like
that. Sounds like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'll have one like in the bathroom, one in my car, one at the office. Let me think. I mean, Think and Grow Rich is a great one, but then a lot of people think that guy was just like completely full of it. But I mean, I don't know if it matters if it helps you when you read it. I think it's still good. Maybe I always like that one. I do think a lot of people, anything that makes you stop doubting yourself, that's the good book for you, and I think when I was a kid, I used to think my sights were down here, and guess what? That's about where I went. And when I threw that off, sky's the limit when you start believing in yourself a little bit.
All right. Tool, software, or technology you can't live without?
I mean, pretty much just the cell phone's the easy one. I do pretty much run the firm from that, but I like, for legal software, I like Hona. It helps me communicate with my clients a lot better. I can send updated videos that are pre-recorded I can reuse them for updates on cases. Some cases have the same thing happen to them in every one at a certain phase. So I shoot one video, and then when that happens in their case, they get an automatic video letting them know. And they don't know that I shot it 2 years ago. They don't care. I actually will get Google reviews sometimes that'll mention that they got update videos and they really liked it. So, I mean, just easy stuff to save time and keep people updated. Hona is a good one. I'm sure there's other ones, but Hona, I really like using them.
Nice. Favorite quote, motto, or saying?
Whoa, these are tough, man.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of them. I mean, I think it's Winston Churchill. It's like, if you don't take the future by the hand, it will take you by the throat. Something like that. It's a pretty good one. Yeah. So especially with AI and all the changes going on, take the future by the hand, or it will likely take you by the throat.
Very good. This one should be easier. This is our wrap-up ones. Something people would be surprised to learn about you.
I mean, I didn't graduate undergrad till I was 29. It took me 10 years, longer than Tommy Boy in that movie. Yeah, I mean, I think I had a 2.2 in high school, and then I got a job in a factory when I graduated high school. And I just started taking one class or two a semester. And when you do that, it takes a long time to get done. I just kept chipping away at it. And by the time I got done, I was 29. I was a different I was a full grown human at that point, and I was a pretty good student. So then kept on going to law school after that. So you don't have to figure it all out when you're young. Sometimes it's better if you wait, honestly.
I don't claim to be a full grown human yet, so I'm never getting there. All right. If anyone wants to reach out to you, has questions, or heck, is in your service area and in need of legal services, what's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I'm the Hometown Lawyer. On LinkedIn, I'm just Joshua Hodges or Josh Hodges, one of those. The Hometown Lawyers with an S.com is our website. We take cases in Ohio and Kentucky. I like helping people out. If anyone has questions on, how they can get videos started, I've helped some other people kind of give them ideas, and they're doing some videos in their community now. It kind of makes me proud if it could spread, because it's doing good in your community. If someone else does it in another state, I think that'd be great. And if you got some, some pointers for me, I'm always all ears for that. I'm always trying to learn. So I like reaching lawyers, law students, anyone like that. You're never going to bother me reaching out to me. I'd love to talk to you.
Excellent. Thanks, Josh, for being a guest today. Hey, coming up next week, we're taking a turn to the direct response back to mail, but it's not me teaching it this time, side of things.
Somebody else.
And we have a known guest that a lot of you in the marketing circles will know. All I'm going to say is initials DD.
Oh,
that's it.
That's
it.
All right. I think I know who it is, but I won't spill the beans.
Oh, no.
No.
Right. So make sure you like, subscribe, share. Let's, we're not hometown people here. This is you can listen to this. You can apply this anywhere.
That's true. Absolutely.
We probably should niche that down a little better. But Josh, thanks again. And everyone tune in next week. More guests coming. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Triceratops podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. For more information on how Jurassic Marketing Direct Mail can help grow your business, visit JurassicMarketing.com.